Hello, my dear friends. We are live once again. We do this weekly. We do this on LinkedIn Live. We do this on YouTube Live. I'm so glad everyone is here. And today we have back with us Samartha, Chandrashekar. And today our a new guest, Shruti Anand. This is going to be interesting. As you know, always with Samartha, we talk about cost, how we optimize your Snowflake spend. So this is going to be very fun and we are live, so we want your questions. Samartha, Shruti, how are you doing today?
Doing
Doing
great,
ex-
Felipe.
Doing great, yes. Samartha, can you remind people what do you do at Snowflake and why you love this so much?
Certainly, I'm from Snowflake's product management team. I lead a team of PMs responsible for compute, cost governance, workload optimization, price performance, all of that fun stuff. So we are deeply committed to ensuring that customers get the best value for Snowflake spend. So yeah, excited to further that cause here by being on the show and talking about some new capability along with Shruti.
I love that commitment and it shows. And then, Shruti, if I go to your LinkedIn, it says not only that you do product management, lead product management at Snowflake, you are also a podcast speaker. You were featured on the BBC, on the New York Times, and you helped because you helped a lot of people once when the layoffs were happening.
Yes, that's right, Felipe. But
Mhm.
my core job responsibility at Snowflake is to lead the admin experiences charter. And that's where I work with Samartha to create experiences on Snowsite, which is what we'll be talking about today. One of the experiences around cost management that our team has been diligently working on to provide greater visibility, better control, and optimization techniques around cost.
I love it. We're going to go deep. But let's say hi to some of our friends. They're saying hi from Amal from Saudi Arabia, Abraham from Rel, North Carolina, the US, Fabio Montes in Miami. Where is everyone else? Where are you, Samartha, today?
I am in Bellevue, Washington, as always.
Bellevue, Washington. Yes. And Shruti, where are you today?
I'm actually in India, and I don't know if you can hear the fireworks. There is a marriage season going out, so if you hear fireworks, I'm just calling it out. Mode.
it's it's like 11 p.m. there, and they're having very loud fireworks. Well, that's fun. We always get a lot of friends from India also in real time, so I'm glad that you are there with them. What city in India?
Ranchi, it's a city in the
Rachi.
northern. Yeah.
Nice. Yes, we have Fabio from Miami, Mandar Bay Area, Raleigh, Greenville, Paris, the Netherlands, and I will let people guess where I am right now. I know Samartha and Shruti already know where I am, but anyone looking at my background can have a guess of where I am right now. Let me give you a clue. It's a huge conference from one of the biggest Snowflake partners. So if anyone is around, you can guess where. Let's meet at the Snowflake booth. So, Shruti, let's get down to business. Uh, I see you, Samartha, Shruti, and PD as the authors of the blog post about better manage and optimize your Snowflake spend in one place with the new cost management interface. And it goes deep into getting getting granular visibility into account usage and spend, uh, configure controls in one place to avoid surprises, take action on recommendations to optimize spend. So today we're going to go deep in this. An important reminder for anyone watching, many of what we're going to watch, a lot of this is in private preview right now. So not everyone can get their hands on this right now, but hopefully we're going to have the public preview soon. And now we're going to have a very uh, awesome preview in your hands where you can share what the team has built and people can ask questions and ask for if anything they want in a different direction. Let's go for it.
Sure. Thank you so much, Felipe. So without further ado, I'll quickly share my screen and let me know
So
if you can see it.
I have
Cool.
your screen here.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Let's get started. So,
Mhm.
as Felipe and Samartha mentioned, we have had series of talks around what we are trying to do, overarchingly around cost management. And this whole snow site experience is a step towards helping customers provide native visibility into how much you're spending, where are you spending, uh, to set up controls, as well as to find opportunities to optimization. As Felipe mentioned, much of this is in private preview or upcoming private preview, and is we are working diligently to get this to public preview sooner, so that all of us, all of you can try your hands and give us feedback, and we can move the needle towards it. But let's get into a quick demo of the feature. So if you're a cost steward, a platform admin, just trying to understand your spend, how much have you been spending at an account level, we launched this page called as an account overview, which is an integral part of the cost management nav bar, as you can see on the left side. Now, cost management has four components. The first one is account overview, consumption, which was the old usage page, budgets, which is the control feature, which is in public preview right now and is available to most of the audience, and then resource monitor, which has been GA over a while. We will not be touching into organization overview. This is something which the team is working and will be launching in future. But we are going to focus our energy in talking about account overview today. So a lot of our customers want to understand how much are they spending within an account. And this page is pretty much centered around it. As you can see, the top section of this page is about an account which is called as AX Test PP8. I'm trying to understand the spend for last 7 days. So the top section gives me a quick overview of how much have I spent in dollars as well as credits, and also what is my compute price per credit, what does my average daily cost look like, what does my average daily credit looks like. It's a quick synopsis, a quick overview or a quick glance across your account spend. Now, the second section is around budgets. So if you have set an account level budget, this chart is showing you how are you trending against your account level budget. In this case, I have defined a budget for the entire month for this entire account to be 5K credits. And I've already consumed 5.9K credits, which mean that I have obviously overused my budget at this point. Then we start to get into the section where we are trying to highlight the top areas of concern, right? Like, or top objects that you should be paying more attention to. So, for example, you want to look at top warehouses by cost. There is a tile which gives you what are the top warehouses by spend during that time period, and it is shown right here. You can actually click to view more warehouses. So if in case you had more than like 5 warehouses, you would be able to see the entire list of warehouses when you clicked on view more. In order to give you the transparency around how we are actually coming up with this data, we also show you the SQL. So you can actually copy paste the SQL in your worksheets and customize it to your needs as well. And if you want to further troubleshoot, in this case, I want to look at why is snow day demo consuming so many credits. I want to look at what queries are running onto it. So I can quickly click on it, and it takes me to the consumption page, filter down, and it shows me all the queries that were run on that particular warehouse.
Yeah, and those are some interesting queries, system classify, but that's for another life.
Yes. Uh, and then on the right-hand side, we have the credit per query, which is kind of telling you what is the average credit you're spending across all the queries that you're running. Over the period of time, as you're trying to stabilize your environment, this should flatten down. Right now, you're seeing a spike because this is more of a test environment for us, but that's what we are expecting. Then we have a tile which shows you the most expensive queries. So think of these as the queries which are running quite a lot of times and probably responsible for most of your credit consumption. We'll list down the queries right here. We also show you the query hash. We show you the total execution time, the number of time this query was run, the average execution time, what warehouse was it run latest on, and what was the warehouse size it was run recently on. If you want, you can actually deep dive into this query by clicking on view query, and it will take you to the query details page.
Yeah, I love how you highlight how many times this query has run and how much time it takes in average, so people can optimize that.
Yes, yes. And as you can
Mhm.
see, Felipe, like I clicked on the query and it took me to the query details section on the query history page. It's giving me the start time, end time, what was the session ID, the SQL that was actually run, and, more details around troubleshooting in general as well.
Yeah. And when we call them the most expensive query, is in terms of this query took a long time, this query took a long time and it was run many times. How is
Yes.
that determined?
This is determined on based on like how many times this query was run,
Mhm.
as well as the average execution time, and we also take into account the warehouse size that it is running on.
Uh-huh. I see.
So
So
it's taking into bunch of details all together and telling you that we perceive these are the top most queries that are spending the most number of credits, and you should look and deep dive further into it.
I see. So the same query could show up twice in different warehouses in this view.
Yes, that's right.
Uh-huh. It's the combination. Excellent.
And then we have a tile called as top database by storage, which is again, if you want to understand what are your top databases that are consuming the most amount of storage, you can find it right here. Here in this case, and you can again click on them and it will redirect you to the consumption tab, which is filtered down by this particular database as well. So in this case, when I click on this, it does take me to the consumption tab. It shows me what the consumption looks like over that period of time. What does the storage size look like, and more details around that database. And then finally, I want to deep dive into a quick feature which is up for an upcoming private preview very, very soon, is what we call as cost insights. So everything that you saw right till now was more around visibility, where we were telling you, okay, these are, top warehouses, top databases, top, expensive queries, and you should go and further troubleshoot it. But and there is obviously budgets, which we have touched upon earlier, which is more around setting controls around how much do you want to use over a period of time, you want to get notified, and resource monitors more around throttling. But where we see a real opportunity as well is we want to surface insights which give you the ability to find what are the potential areas to optimize your cost, and cost insights is pretty much that feature. We are starting with 5 set of insights, which is going to be shown. It's going to be very tailored to your account. So, in some cases, you'll see 5 of them. In some cases, you might see only one, because that's the only one that's applicable to you. In this account, I have, everything possibly gone wrong. So I'm seeing like 5 opportunities to optimize. For example, the first one is like I have rarely used tables which have auto clustering on. I can actually click on them. I can see the table names. I can see the credits consumed, how much credit contribution is coming from these tables, number of queries using these tables, and then obviously certain recommendation. For example, in this case, consider disabling the automatic clustering on these tables. So this feature, as I mentioned, is going to go private preview very soon. If you're interested, please work with your account team. We're happy to enable this feature for you. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's a quick
I
demo.
I love that thought on what is expensive. Like we usually surface what where we are spending the most. Like I spend the most on rent,
Yeah.
but that's not expensive. That's what I use every day. What is
Yes.
expensive here is are things that I have on that I'm not using. It
Yes.
might be smaller, but I can stop using them. And surfacing this is a really, really awesome way to show this off.
Yes, yes. And we are starting with, 5 insights, which we are very confident. We have actually tested it out and we feel most of our customers would benefit. But over a period of time, we'll definitely be adding more insights to it. And it's, general best practice, general hygiene, and we'll tailor it down as we, work with more and more customers through private preview.
Cool,
So
cool,
let
cool.
me
And we,
interject on the
yes,
on the per job
please,
cost.
Samartha.
Yeah, on the per query cost itself. We've announced this feature in private preview, or rather private preview coming soon, where the same information will also be queryable from query history. So for each query, there's already a column that says the per query cost of the cloud services cost footprint. Now we'll also have another column that says the per query cost of the warehouse cost footprint. The important thing to be mindful of here is that this is also a function of the environmental conditions of the warehouse at the for the duration that the query is running. So for example, if it's the only query running in that warehouse, and let's say for the purposes of argument, it's saturating that warehouse entirely, the entire cost of that warehouse for the duration that that query is running will be attributed to that query. However, if let's say there are three queries and they're roughly the same resource footprint, and they're also saturating that warehouse, and let's say for the sake of argument they're also all running from the exact start time to the same exact end time, they would all be responsible for one third of the cost of the warehouse would get attributed to the queries. While doing this, we're also trying to honor a quantization rule, which is that the sum of the parts should add up to exactly be the whole. So the cost of the constituent query should add up to the cost of the warehouse over that period of time. There are also some oddities around how we or some gotchas around how we handle idle time and how we attribute that and things like that, and we'll share more details about that in due course. But this is coming soon as a capability that you can access, run queries on, chart yourself on, and it's going to be available in account usage under query history. Most customers that we know are looking to use this for either showback or chargeback scenarios where they're looking at warehouses as essentially units of shared compute that is used by multiple business units, and and now we want to charge back individual business units for that warehouse spend that their queries were responsible for, and that's one use case. The other one is by simply sorting by the most expensive queries, that gives you some form of a launching point to kick off optimization activities. So so that's the one thing that I wanted to add on. It looks like we have a few questions, so maybe we can.
Yes. I have one question. What happens if we click on the eye on credits per query? What's the extra information? Is that ready for public preview? Database on warehouse metering history and includes all the query that use a warehouse. That's
So the important thing
interesting.
about that tile is that this is showing a directional trend
Yes.
on sort of
Okay.
the average cost per query um, as your usage with Snowflake grows. It isn't
Yes.
normalized based on usage, but that's something that we plan to introduce almost along the lines of a per account SPI, which is a Snowflake Performance Index.
Excellent.
Um,
So,
but
sorry.
yeah, but currently shows is essentially a directional trend in terms of how your spend is doing on a per query basis across the entire estate of your account.
Yep.
Excellent. Let's get down to questions because people are already here. By the way, some already guessed correctly. Keith guessed correctly. Stephen guessed correctly, and a couple more that I'm in Las Vegas for reInvent. Oh, let's meet outside. Invite me to your parties. What do you think of this question from Fernando? Fernando wants to know if you are able to customize the KPIs in the cost management dashboard view.
So I'll
So
say this.
right now,
Go ahead, Shruti.
I was going to say, so right now the view itself, the dashboard itself is not customizable, but there are two ways. All the information that we show here is available via SQL, right? So you can query it, integrate into the platform of your choice. So anything that we build natively, we also understand that customers have their own tools of choice, so they can definitely extract it and do it there. Also, we are exposing SQL almost for every tile possible here. So you can copy paste that SQL. It could be as simple as that, and open it in worksheets, customize it, and take that information to the platform of your choice. So yeah, Samartha, go ahead.
No, you answered that, Shruti. Only thing I'll add is one of our most important tenets here is that we don't want to surface any proprietary data that customers access. The same data here is available in raw form for customers to query and chart as they would like. And it's not just customers, but
Yes, Samartha, I have to say something is happening to your microphone that is going in and out. But we have Shruti, and hopefully we can figure out what's happening to that microphone. We have another question from Praveen. I can answer this easily. Can we ask questions? Yes, you just did. So hopefully you have more questions. Like Pawan wants to know if the cost management feature available in all the Snowflake editions.
Yes, it is available in all Snowflake edition. Other like the only possible place where you would not be able to try the cost management UI is the trial customers. We are still working towards it. But in general, this feature is in private preview. But once it goes public preview, it would be available for everyone.
Yes, everyone wants to manage their cost, and it's really important for Snowflake that everyone feels happy about how much they are spending on Snowflake.
Yes,
So
that's right.
I love all the effort here. And we have a questions on YouTube. Tom DZ wants to know if the Insight feature offers suggestions into resizing warehouses based on usage. What would you do there?
As of now, we do not have an insight which goes into resizing of warehouses. We do have an insight which is around auto suspend disabled on warehouse, but that's about it. And as I mentioned, we are working on launching more and more insights as we gain more confidence about the recommendations that we want to prescribe there. So as of now, to answer your question directly, we do not have an insight around warehouse resizing.
Yes, we
I'll
have partners that
add
do
Shruti
that.
said. I'll add to what Shruti
Samartha.
said, and I'm hoping that my microphone is working better now. But it is very much in our intentions to add that as an insight, because look, warehouses are responsible for the vast majority of Snowflake, and it's important that we surface that. What we're doing is we're surfacing metrics initially, like the warehouse utilization metric, which in conjunction with warehouse can be used to infer how utilized your compute is, and we plan to use the same artifacts to surface insights around warehouse utilization here as well. As we speak, yes, it's
Yep.
not available, but in the fullness of time, it is in our intentions to address some of these things.
Oh, now you're sounding better. For the first half, we had a lot of static, and for the second half, the last part, you started sounding better. Not sure what's happening there, but I have more questions. Another one from Tom. You may have some cool queries to show here because he wants to know if there is an API to extract some of this data outside of Snowflake for reporting. And what's Snowflake's API? Samartha.
Well, this is all available in account usage. So in fact, Shruti might actually be able to show you some of this. So for example, the most expensive queries, you can open that up and actually look at the SQL that we're using to surface that. And that'll show you that we're essentially scraping that off of um, a bunch of data that's already in account usage. And so yeah, SQL is the best API. In addition, if you have a preference for using Python or something like that via REST, there is a way to do that as well. But this data is all in Snowflake in a manner that we can easily access and pull.
Exactly. And anyone can use their best tools for reporting and to drive further insights and to extend it and make suggestions. With this data, Snowflake, you could do this. And Samartha and Shruti are here listening to you. And I love having these interactions.
In fact, this
Well
is
wants
also
to know
a
about.
great segue. Sorry to
Yes.
interrupt. This is also a great
Oh,
segue to maybe show a few cases where you can actually use simple. Let me actually go share my screen. So for
yes.
example, not all of the data that you see on the dashboard itself is charted, or all of the data that we make available in account usage is available via this chart. Do have is, as a part of this definitive guide that we explored, I think the last time we met, we have answers to a large number of queries, and you can run these queries that all query account usage to answer some of these questions. So, for example, if I want details around my Snowpipe consumption over this year, grouped by each week, I have a query here, and this is again querying the same raw data sources, and what's my results. In fact, if I want something like, say, automatic clustering usage in terms of credit consumption over the past year, grouped by again every week, we have a query for that which published online. I think it's here. You can, it's linked from our definitive guide, and boom, we have this, and just by eyeballing this, you can notice that there are some weeks where the footprint is much larger than others. And again, these are anomalies to go kick off optimization activities and deep dives.
Excellent. Yes, so people have queries, and whenever we are doing some guesses, like cost per query involves some guesses, um, you can see exact queries and assumptions that Snowflake is making to do that. Well, how do you pronounce well? Well, he wants to know if this will be extended to the org level.
Yeah.
Beside that,
So I'm not sure if you noticed, we actually had an org overview tab right there, which I mentioned is work in progress right now. So we understand that most customers want to come to an org overview and monitor multiple accounts and then deep dive into an account. So stay tuned. We are working on that feature as well.
excellent. And Sandeep wants to know something that we said earlier, but for anyone that got here later. He wants to see if it's true, everything that we're showing, and he only sees the usage tab. When is this cost management going to be made available?
So Sandeep, as this feature is right now in private preview, we are working very, very hard to get this enhanced, via public preview. So stay tuned. It is going to happen very soon.
Excellent. And what about Kiran that wants to know if he understands correctly, spend based on warehouse and role? For one warehouse and database, there might be multiple roles?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we do not have a tile. Sorry, go ahead, Samartha.
No. Finish the thought, Shruti. No worries.
I was going to say that we do not have a tile right now which shows you spend by roles, or shows spend by a group of warehouses. But that's an incoming request which we'll be working on as well. But Samartha, feel free to add anything to Kiran's question here.
Correct. We have spend based on warehouses and spend based on role. We're not necessarily intersecting the two, but we have the queries for that available. So if you want to slice and dice that in different ways, then it's pretty trivial to do so by modifying the queries that we've shared.
Yes. Mohammed has a very specific question. Like, we can go back to budgets. Budgets are awesome. They increase daily. I love how they track the month. But what happens when we overspend the budget? How do we alert our users?
Yeah, in fact,
We do
Snowflake
have,
sends an alert.
yes.
Go ahead, Shruti.
No, I think as Samartha was mentioning, we do have an email integration in place. So you will receive alerts. And in fact, we'll extrapolate it on a daily basis. So if you have 300 credits as a budget, and you spend more than $10 a day, we'll send you notifications via email every day. Samartha, feel free to add to it.
Yes, the key thing to point out is that notifications in our budgets are not just reactive. We just don't send a notification when you cross a threshold, but we proactively send notifications based on your current burn rate and the trajectory against where you ideally ought to be based on your current budget.
By the way, we are on time, but we love answering questions. So let's not leave questions unanswered unless you have to run. What's the accuracy of the data shown? What is the granularity of the data? We can know which application the query coming from. Like
Well,
accuracy and granularity.
yeah, look, so for things like warehouse cost or auto clustering cost and things like that, this is the same as, I mean, the accuracy is the same as your Snowflake bill. It's all using the same sort of raw data sources. For the second part of your question, what is the granularity of the data? Can we know which application the query is coming from? So we do have the ability to tag sort of the sources of this, and we can we can go ahead and query against that. For example, let me just share my screen and show you something else, which is we also have a query that we've published that says, and I trust that you can see my screen.
I can.
Can you, Felipe?
Yes, we can.
All
Partner
right.
tools consuming P1.
have partner tools, which are essentially actions that are sending queries. We have the ability to attribute um, credit footprint of all of the queries sent by these external tools against Snowflake. And we have lots of queries like this that we've linked to, that we first published online, and then we've linked our definitive guide, so you can go take a look. But yes, it is possible to perform that attribution, and that's the basis um, of how such computations are done, both with our dashboard, or you can realize custom ones using the same logic.
Nice. And since we're talking about partners, this is also a nice time to say something about our partners, because kids want to know, would the service compete or be complementary to what companies like Select and Blue Sky offer?
First of all, I'll say we love our partners. They are,
Yes.
they're helping us accelerate our roadmap. They're helping us sort of amplify our impact by reaching more customers sooner. We're first starting out by providing the foundational raw data. So our maturity model is, first we want to make the raw metrics available via account usage, etc. Next, we want to chart it and visualize it and present it in compelling manners. Now, on that activity, now as Shruti showed you, we have a dashboard that is representative of our subjective point of view, and here's the most important pieces of data that you might readily want. Now, that might be a good fit. We hope it is, but it's entirely possible that that dashboard might not necessarily be your ideal set of data that you want to see charted. In which there are partners like some of the ones that are mentioned here that can build custom aggregations and prettier charts and things like that based on custom variants of the data that we make available. Next in our maturity model is the ability to surface insights. Again, we act on that raw data. We look for anomalies. We look for sources of low yield spend. We surface those insights. Subsequently, we plan to surface recommendations. Our confidence around some of these things is higher. And then finally, we want to everything. And I think in the previous iteration of this, we've discussed the notion of sort of intent-based compute, where essentially we want to take on the ownership of capacity management and warehouse sizing and number of clusters is not something that we want customers to own in the fullness of time. And ideally, what you want to provide to Snowflake is a collection of query workload, a cost budget, and a desired completion time as an SLO, and we'll figure out the rest. And of this maturity model, I think there's a role for partners. There are some partners that are arguably already providing this functionality ahead of us making this available in the market. And there are some other partners that are using some of the foundational building blocks that we provide to realize more customized, arguably more compelling experiences that might make sense for certain customer cohorts. So we love our partners. We engage with them deeply. And I think it's a better together story looking to further here.
Yes. Last two questions. Well, I have one about streams and tasks that we can cover on a different live. But this is a very open question, but if we could just give him a short answer. How to do an optimization process in Snowflake?
Yeah, I'd say at a high level, we are big believers and we're beginning to embrace this notion of FinOps, where notion of cost optimization is just the preserve of a certain function, be it like practitioner, or it's not just a finance team or a business owner. We believe that ideally there are business functions that need to work in cohesion and reform processes, technology practices, as well as sort of a whole mindset around being efficient across the board. So what we've done is we've published a bunch of content around how you can actualize a practice on Snowflake. When the rubber meets the road, it really comes down to three sets of capabilities. There's visibility, there is control, and then there is optimization feed. Examples of visibility are things like warehouse utilization, things like warehouse load metrics, where we raw metrics that allow you to gauge uh, uh, and get visibility into spend, and attribute spend, you can tag spend, etc. Control includes things like, say, resource monitor. You can actually set a spending cap, or something like, say, a scale factor with query acceleration, where after reaching a certain threshold, we actually turn off further spend there. It comes with great power, so there's also some responsibility to be exercise there, because sometimes suspending a warehouse or turning off something can be tantamount to an outage as well. Then finally, there are optimization capabilities that we're always looking to expand. And examples of this include things like, say, automatic clustering, materialized views, search optimization, etc., whereby actually optimizing the underlying storage, or the way things are stored, you're saving on compute. And so we have a plethora of capabilities and a crawl, walk, run approach, along with this FinOps practice, and we put out a bunch of content. The most sort of noteworthy is this guide that I pointed to earlier, which is, I think, called the Definitive Guide to Managing Snowflake. So do take a look at that. That should hopefully give you some pointers on getting started.
Yes, we have an awesome series of these lives that are all recorded and available on YouTube and LinkedIn for anyone that wants to watch it. We can share the URL later. And to end on a beautiful note, thank you, Paul, for saying that this is actually a very strong potential selling point for Snowflake. It soothes some of the background worries that people have prior to adoption. Like, yes, Snowflake is on your side. Snowflake is constantly optimizing Snowflake so everything runs faster, but making cost more visible. What Shruti showed us today, that we Snowflake can surface things that you have on that you are not using, and just turn those off, probably, maybe. But at the end, it's your decision of what you turn on and what you turn off. But with that, I want to thank Shruti. Samartha, this is your time for last words. What do you want people to remember, say, come back, ask for? Shruti
I
first.
think I think it was a great session with partnership, and thank you so much, Felipe and Samartha. Love to hear people's feedback, and very much aligned with the directional thinking that we have around what we are building on the Snowflake interface. So, we are hoping to get it in hands of everyone very, very soon. So please stay tuned with all the efforts.
Yes. And Samartha.
Yeah, I'm gonna repeat myself, that
Uh-huh.
we at Snowflake are deeply committed to help customers optimize their spend and get the best value for the money that they spend on Snowflake. Now, we've noticed that a lot of the customers that come from on-prem solutions deal with really what are considered problems of scarcity. So, for example, if you have only so many resources, and if it takes you like months of time and a purchase order, etc., to burst out capacity, you're dealing with problems of scarcity where you just can't add more capacity. And with Snowflake in the cloud, because of the elastic properties of the cloud, in some cases, customers are dealing with problems associated with times of plenty, where you might be suboptimally using things. And so a large focus of our cost optimization investments across the board is to help you navigate sort of the cloud environment where you can pretty easily scale things and start using things quickly. And we're building in guardrails, we're building in sort of metrics that can help you use your Snowflake spend more judiciously so that you're getting the best bang for your buck and the best price book across the board.
I love it. So I'm glad that everyone came here. We will be live next week too. We will be live next year. Let's meet on LinkedIn, on Reddit, on Threads now. And thanks a lot, Shruti. Thanks a lot, Samartha. I think it's time to make the bear dance. Have a great day. Thank you. Dhanyavad. Shukriya. Merci. Obrigado.